Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. This is our assignment video for Introductory Statistics. Our project is conducted under the guidance of Associate Professor Dr. Nur Azah Samad. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce to you our team members. First, we have Shazwan. Second, we have Anis. Third, we have Shukri. And last but not least is me, Sulaika. First, our title is The Relationship Between Wake and Heart Rate During Exercise. Next, population and sample of study. A population of respondents is UPSI student while the sample of 30 respondents represent the population of UPSI student that playing sport. Next is objective. First objective is to estimate the mean variance and standard deviation of heart rate during exercise. Second objective is to identify the relationship between wake and heart rate during exercise. The third objective is to identify the mean difference of heart rate between two types of activity. And the last but not least, to compare the mean heart rate during exercise among different weight categories using ANOVA.
The significance of this study can be concluded as an understanding of UPSS students on how weight affects heart rate during exercise. With this study, we can know how their weight impact their heart rate during physical activity. From this study, we can help people create exercise plans that are better suited for different weight groups. Therefore, this can reduce risk during exercise.
For the instrument, the sample was gathered by the measuring weight using a weight scale, heart rate by counting heartbeat for 1 minute using a timer, and height using a height measuring device. We also use Excel to collect all the data.
For the first objective is to estimate the mean variance and standard deviation of heart rate during exercise for two types of sport. For table 1, which is for jogging, we can see here is several range of interval of heart rate and total for our respondent is equal to 30. First, we want to calculate the mean. We use mean formula which is denoted by x bar. The sum of the value x is divided by the number of respondents. So we get 139.47. Therefore, the sample mean for jogging for all 30 students is 139.47 bpm, which is the heart rate per minute. Next, we want to calculate the variance and standard deviation to know the consistency and variability of the respondent dataset. From the formula, we get the value of variance is 273.15. Hence, the sample variance for all 30 students is 273.15 bpm. For standard deviation, is the square root of variance is 16.53. Thus, the sample standard deviation for all 30 students that jogging is 16.53 bpm. By using Excel software, it shows that all the mean variance and standard deviation value of dataset are equal to our manual calculation.
This is the objective 2 to identify the relationship between weight and heart rate during the exercise. The table is show the data that we collect, weight and heart rate. So at there we find x, y and x square and y square to get a total of it to use it for the to find the r for the correlation. This is how we find the correlation using a formula, and we will use the data that we calculate for the next slide, for the last time slide. This is a scatter plot that we can derive from the table. This is how we use a t-test method for the correlation. First step, we will state the null hypothesis, and second step, we have alpha and degree of freedom. Degree of freedom, we use a formula n minus 2. The n is 30, so 30 minus 2 is 28, and the critical value obtained from the t distribution are 2.048. After that, in the step 3, we will calculate a t test value. We will use the formula, and just as we know, we have a r n, so we just use the formula and get a 0.607. So after we get all the t-test value and critical value, we can assume that not we will not reject the null hypothesis since the test value is out of the critical region because the test value is smaller than the critical value. In the step 5, we conclude there is no relationship between the variables of weight and heart rate. This is a substitution to find R using a Excel. It's a schedule plot that we use Excel to get it.
So now on objective 3, we are going to see on how to determine the mean difference of heart rate between two types of activity. This is the table of students' heart rate difference between two activities. Activity 1 here is referring to volleyball, while activity 2 here represents jogging. The value listed under these two categories are the heart rate of the students, and we also have the value of difference and the difference squared value in this table. First, we have to calculate the standard deviation on D bar using this formula. Before we can use the SD bar formula, we have to find the values of D bar and SD as following. As a result, we will get 25.92 for D bar and 19.4677 for standard deviation. Hence, substitute the value of SD and N value in the formula. We will get the value for standard deviation of D bar, which is 5.6198. Next, identify the alpha value, degree of freedom, and the 95% confidence interval for mu D. Thus, we can state with 95% confidence that the mean difference of student heart rate between the two types of activity is between 13.55 to 38.29. And for this part is shown that how we can calculate the mean difference using software.
Shamsul. Now I'm going to talk about objective number 4 for manual calculation, which is to compare the mean heart rate during exercise among different weight categories. As you can see here, this is all data from people who jogging for a few minutes. For objective number 4, I want to calculate using one-way ANOVA. For step 1, state the hypothesis. For H null, mu1 equal to mu2 equal to mu3. For H alternative, not all three means are equal. For step number 2, select the distribution to use. We use F distribution to make this test because we are comparing the means for three normally distribution population. For step number 3, determine the rejection and non-rejection region. The significant level is 0.01, 0.05 because of one-way ANOVA test is our right tail. The area in the right tail of the F distribution curve is 0.05, which is the rejection region. Value of K is 3 and value for N is 30. Degree of freedom numerator is 2, degree of freedom denominator is 27, and critical value is 3.35. For step number 4, using formula, we want to calculate the test statistic F. Our value for SSB is 170.419. SSW is 8660.548. MSB is 85.2095 and MSW is 320.7610. And final, our value of F is 0.26564 and we transfer all the value to ANOVA table. For the conclusion, because of the test statistic F is 0.26564 is less than the critical value of F 3.35, it falls to the non-rejection region. Hence, we fail to reject the null hypothesis and conclude that the means of three populations are equal. In other words, the three different weight of people do not seem to affect the means of heart rate of people. This is data analysis by using Microsoft Excel, and you can see the value of F and F critical is same as manual calculation.